Indian man beheads 7-year-old nephew in a human sacrifice. In Bihar, India, a 7-year-old boy was beheaded by his 35-year-old uncle on the advice of a Tantrik in an attempt to cure his 3-month-old sick daughter. Police report that the boy, I think this is pronounced Saurabh Kumar, was on his way home, back home from a shop when his uncle, identified as Toofani Yadav, decapitated him with a sword in a single stroke in front of several other villagers. He then fled on the spot. Yadav sought a tantric's guidance after his 2-month-old son died last year, and the tantric advised him that sacrificing his nephew would solve all his problems. The accused wife, mother, and father were all aware of the plot. Yadav and 4 others have been arrested in connection with this case. This is, obviously we don't have to say that this is horrific. I think, okay, I don't know how to say this. Basically, like every time human sacrifice is in the news that comes to my attention, it involves tantra in some way. What's with that, guys? What is with that? We highlighted a similar story a few weeks ago. However, I think this one is even worse because this is a person's family member. I don't know if that's fair to say, actually. I don't know. It depends on how you calculate things. But one thing that makes this worse is that the grandparents of this child were aware of what was going to happen, and they allowed it to happen.
Yeah, it's so heinous, so horrific, and I find so he's going to kill this kid, and it's going to what? Make his kid come back to life? What does he mean by solve all his problems?
So he had a 2-month-old son, or a son that was 2 months old at the time that he died last year, and then he has a 3-month-old daughter now who is sick of the same disease.
Right. So it's going to stop. Yeah, right. I get it. What you have to give some soul to the, the blood sacrifice god. It's so crazy that, so we're having a discussion earlier about bride traffickers, and now we're talking about people who are sacrificing. I don't understand what's happening, like people going backwards. But I also find that it's interesting, like almost as if maybe these people advising them under the guise of Tantra, it's like they're almost like in a cult, or they're some sociopaths themselves who are using, it just seems so creepy on a level I'm having a hard time being articulate about it at all. And then the fact that he fled gives you the sense that he knows it's wrong. It's not like he's doing it and he's a true so where's the disconnect between deciding to do it but still knowing, I better run so I don't get found? It's very, very effed up.
Yeah, I think, Katie has an interesting comment here. I think the fact that so many of us in India are kind of desensitized to this is really bad. Yeah, it's and then she's also clarifying Tantra is black magic and esoteric Hindu and Buddhist tradition, for those who don't know. It's just absolutely brutal. And the fact, this isn't logical or rational, but the fact that this was a conspiracy amongst the family just makes it so much worse to me. Although people could argue that the other story that we highlighted, where they basically kidnapped a random girl off the street and then took out her liver, is even worse, but
these are people that should have a vested interest in this child safety too.
Yeah, protection.
Right. If he's the nephew, then that means they're all related. So where is this go? How do you, it it's so sad and gross.
Katie is saying this is not as common as it used to be, of course, but it's still common enough for this news to not be extremely shocking to most people. People are like, yeah, it's effed. And then Optimus Prime is saying these tantrics should be imprisoned. I believe the tantric that was involved in this case has been imprisoned. Several the father who did this, or the victim's uncle who did this, and then his wife and his father and the cousin that brought the uncle to this tantric have all been arrested in the case. I think the father of this guy, the grandfather of the victim, is still on the run, based on what I read. And then Secular Poton is saying that's why when people ask why do your superstitions don't hurt anyone, I think you're trying to say like
He just forgot a word, but yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to say like people say that superstitions aren't harmful, but they clearly are. Trells is saying if this is not the definition of that line from Voltaire, quote, those who can make you believe absurdities can make you quit atrocities, I do not know what is. That's very well put. Do you have Saurabh Kumar is saying I'm feeling deeply ashamed and sad. I can't express how disgusting this act is, how the family members haven't stopped him. Yeah.
I don't think you should be ashamed though, because why? Yeah, I mean, Silva is from Silva. If you're from India, you shouldn't be ashamed for things that has nothing to do with you, just because they happen to share a country with you. Like you shouldn't. You should only feel pride or shame for your own actions or for the things that you have done. It doesn't make sense for me to feel pride for things, accomplishments by the people that just happen to be born within a certain distance, within the borders that I was born in. And it doesn't make any sense to feel ashamed as well. The people that are born in some proximity to you do not represent you. You represent you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the difference between being individualistic or collectivist. Yeah,
Katie is saying also human sacrifice is present in Hindu scriptures. Don't make any mistake and don't be fooled by people who say that this is not Hinduism. I'm gonna call you Swampy or Swamp Nil Verte. I don't know. Coincidentally, most of these sacrifices are made to Kali. Not so sexy after all. Yes, this is one thing I have been learning and realizing. Of course, the articles that I read didn't mention, if this was done for any deity in particular. And Frank is saying Kali Purana says children should be sacrificed. So,
I think that one or two of the other, unfortunately, previous cases of this kind of behavior, in one of them I think they did mention Kali, and yeah, that I definitely know. And then also the fact that you were saying that oh god, now I can't remember what I was going to say, but just about it being for the goddess. Oh, I know, it was making me think of like assassins, where that word comes from, where they have a religious cult that kills people for their God, it just kind of, not that these are necessarily the same, but it kind of reminded me of that almost, as if you have these directors getting minions to do these acts to satisfy the bloodlust of their, special friend.
We got a super chat from Maggie. Thank you so much, Maggie. Maggie saying, great point, Armin. Don't be embarrassed at your country's mistakes. Yes, and also don't be proud of them either, unless you had something to do with it.
True.
Right? Then be very proud of it.
But
very
thank
proud.
You for the $5.
Thank you so much. Yeah, for
Ghost Funny saying, don't mock our child sacrificing mother.
No, not all. Some Hindus, not generalizing. But yes.
Oh, Hara Sultan is saying,
Whoa.
thank you for the $8 Australian, Haras. Saying, have you guys spoken about the temple burning in Pakistan? No, but that's super important. I think we
Yes.
should maybe do a full stream on that, or if not, we're definitely going to cover it in the news next week.
Yes, and this is another reason why you should subscribe to everything Harris Sultan. Everything Harris Sultan, whatever channel he has, you need to be subscribed to it because he's on top of these things. Go subscribe to it. But yes, thank you so much for mentioning that we need to cover this. Yeah, that's a good input. Thank you for
it just didn't make
you
it into our news cycle. It's a couple. I'm not going to get into how I do the news, but yes.
But we do. We should get. We should have it. So we shouldn't be one of our news segments. We should have a live stream on that probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
It's
Thank
wild.
you. Yes. Oh yeah, and we need to also do a news. And we also need to cover Abdullah Samir. Yeah, we need to cover that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Katie is saying. Katie is saying, true, Kali is usually the goddess most of the sacrifices are made to. Goat sacrifice in Kali temples is still very common in India because human sacrifice is illegal, of course. So before, yeah, of course. But that means that Kali used to get the highest number of human sacrifices before it was illegal. So that's Jesus, right?
You know how to pick them.
Well, she's dating the destroyer, and she's a destroyer and a creator.
All right, guys, let's not. I don't want to make jokes about this because this is a very bad joke. And also subscribe to our newsletter because if we get removed from all these platforms, at least we could reach out to you. And guys, by the way, if you subscribe to our newsletter, you get a free copy of Why There's No. Where's your copy, Susanna? Get it. We're doing promotion. You get a free. It's not even promotion. It's free. Okay, so if you subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description, you get a free copy of Why There's No God. Come on, like I'm handing it out for free. Okay, it's a bestseller on Amazon, and you get it for free. So subscribe to our newsletter, and you get a free copy of Why There's No God sent to you. Link in the description.